it's not obvious to me. For example, there's many brilliant people that are working to extend life, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yes, extending the quality of life, improving the quality of life is a really worthy pursuit. It's an obvious pursuit, and it should be. I mean, it's fascinating. It's a beautiful one we should invest in. But do you want to live forever? That's not. To me. A lot of people say like, yes, you should be able to choose when you die. To me, it's not obvious that living forever is going to maximize happiness. It's there. There could be death, the fear of death, the finiteness of things, the finiteness of experience that are pleasurable, is part of the human condition. It's not obvious to me if you remove that's not going to significantly uh, decrease the the amount of happiness
Well, it
in the
will
human life.
decrease the amount of happiness. It's like if you ever played a video game on God mode,
Yeah, exactly.
it's boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Just
What
running
is that?
around shooting everything because there's no consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no consequence. We desire consequence. Um, what we're doing is dealing with these instincts, this coding, behavior patterns of civilization and of organisms that have, been evolving and have been working their way out to get to the most efficient and best method possible for fucking millions of years. I mean, what we're going to do is continue that process. I think we should just enjoy what we enjoy right now. We should be very appreciative of the fact that we haven't made that transition yet. And I think we're probably the last of the Mohicans. We're probably the last of the regular people. And I don't think we're going to be able to look back 100 years or 1,000 years from now and say that this was better if they solve all the problems that wreak havoc on people's lives emotionally and psychologically, and in terms of like war and famine and disease and all the problems we have with poverty and slavery and the resources of the earth being exploited by a select few and damaging the environment in the process. Like all these things that we know are absolutely wrong about what human life is capable of, even today in 2023. If we could eliminate all of that, we would, and we will. I think that's what we're going to be. We're going to be some new thing. And
But the
it might not be as beautiful.
Well, maybe not on Earth. The interesting thing about expanding out to other planets
Mhm.
life will be extremely harsh on those planets. So that explorer experience where resources are highly constrained, extremely challenging, so building up a civilization on other planets, that might have the same kind of romanticized humanness
Mm.
that we're talking about now. Here on Earth, everybody would be just like in a pool of pleasure, just connected to a VR where just they're constantly just dopamine everywhere.
Remember
But
when The Matrix first came out and you're like, that's stupid?
yeah, when was that? 90s?
I think it was 90s, 99, you
Yeah,
say? Somewhere? Yeah, in that range.
yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, so silly. That could never happen. Now you look at it and you're like, oh, that could 100% happen. Like how many thousands of years from now before it has to be like that? But if you're giving people the option to live a completely free life where you're the hero, you're the bad motherfucker, you're riding a motorcycle with your shirt open and you get all the girls and you're fucking shooting guns at the sky and the UFOs come and they take you on a trip and every day is wild and magical and you're running from tigers and you barely get away. You're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it the same way you play a fucking Battlecraft or whatever the fuck they play. What's that big game they
Battlecraft,
play? What do they
Call of
play?
Duty.
Call of Duty, StarCraft,
Mix them
that one too.
together.
All that shit. All that
Battlefield.
shit that people are Battlefield Earth, whatever. All that shit that people best movie ever. All that shit that people play. Like, what are they doing? They're trying to. It's more fun than regular life.
Yeah.
It's a sitting. If you have a boring ass life, and instead you could be sniping people from a rooftop and winning, and like jumping, off the top of a building and landing in a canopy, and you live, and this is wild. You're doing this fun thing that's very exciting, whereas regular life is not exciting. We're so easily manipulated in that way. We're so easily stimulated, and we're willing to give up a giant percentage of our time already to these things, whether it's to our phone or whether it's to video games that we play and Xbox and PlayStation and all the shit that people are just addicted to all day long. It's not much different to go from that to the next level, to just be completely integrated with technology. And I think it's inevitable. I think it's just a matter of time. I don't know how many years, but I think we're going to look back on these years of fucking riots in the streets and cops killing people, and we're going to go, God, we were so dumb back